Welcome to the From Scratch Body. We're making Caesar salad. I love this so much, and this dressing is exactly how you get it in the restaurant, if not better. Let's go. For Caesar salad, you want obviously some nice, fresh, crispy lettuce. A great thing that you can do if you have lettuce that isn't so crunchy and crispy anymore, if you've had it in the fridge for a couple of days or something. This is a bowl here with some really ice cold water, even some ice cubes in there. Keep it really nice and cold, and that really crisps up the lettuce, even like really not nice looking lettuce. Just dunk it in the water. That will really crisp it up. Leave that there for a second. There are kind of two ways that you can do the Caesar salad. You can present it beautifully on the plate. So I'm making it for 2 people today. So you could put 2 plates out and do the lettuce, then do everything else and kind of present it more sort of aesthetically. However, if you really love that Caesar salad dressing, that classic dressing, and you kind of wanted to cover everything, then it's nice to put it all in one bowl, and then you can really toss the salad with the dressing at the end before serving. So I'm going to do that today. But on my website is an example of where I've kind of done it more the first way, where I place everything on the plate as I'm chopping it up and then just drizzle the dressing over. So it really is just preference. So I don't actually know if tomatoes are authentic to a Caesar salad. Sometimes you get them with, sometimes you get them without. So some people might see me put tomatoes in it and be like, oh, what are you doing? But as I've talked about before with salads, you put the stuff in there that you want and you leave out the stuff that you don't want. And that's the great thing, obviously, about a Caesar salad, is it's got all these different levels to it. So you can do it really simple with just some lettuce, tomato. These are just my suggestions for lettuce, tomato, some croutons, which we're going to put in there as well. And do a vegan dressing. And you can have a completely vegan salad, or just do a regular dressing, have a vegetarian salad. Then you can add all sorts of different things. You can add anchovies, you can add chicken, and you can add some bacon. And I am going to add everything today. Well, I'll leave it up to you to decide how much of this you follow. I've got a tiny tin here of anchovy fillets in olive oil. I'm not going to use all of them. Don't discard that olive oil. We're going to use that for the dressing. So I'm just chopping up these anchovies. Anchovies are not for everyone. I didn't really like them before, but I'm kind of warming to them now. So I'm going to add some of those in there, but not too much. I don't want it to overpower the flavor too much. We're going to use some kitchen roll and just pat these lettuce leaves dry a little bit. I mean, if there's a bit of water on them, it's not the end of the world, but just to kind of really just get that crunch without getting loads of water. And I'm going to leave these lettuce leaves whole, but you can chop them up if you want them a little bit more, if you just want everything a bit tinier. I'm just going to chuck them in like this. Now for some chicken, I've got 2 chicken breasts here. I did these in the oven and I've let them cool down. You can do them in a pan as well, obviously. And you can choose whether you want them to be hot or kind of cool down like I'm doing today. I kind of like it when they cool down because then everything in the salad is the same temperature, but it can be really nice to have like freshly cooked chicken just spread on top of the salad as well. So again, it's completely up to you. So if you do the chicken in the oven, I recommend you start off a little bit hotter at maybe 220 degrees Celsius and then take it down, maybe do that for 5 minutes and then take it down to 200 for another 15. But all ovens are different, and you know, keep an eye on it. You want the chicken to be 74 degrees Celsius inside if you do a meat thermometer or more. before you eat it. Just tossing in a few bits of pancetta here, not too much, just a little bit of a drizzle. Finally, I just add a few croutons. I leave those to the end because you don't want them to get soggy from a bit of moisture and water from the lettuce and stuff like that. If they soften a tiny bit, that's okay. I mean, these are quite hard, but you still want a bit of that crunch from the croutons. If you haven't seen my crouton video yet, where I make croutons from stale bread, which is the best kind of crouton, and you save so much money because they're really expensive when they're ready made, do check that out. Definitely worth your time. All right, this is our salad. That's the easy bit done. Well, it's all easy really. Now let's make this delicious dressing. First, for your Caesar salad dressing, you want to crush 1 garlic clove. I've got a small to medium garlic clove here. And the easiest way I find is to just use a grater. I've got a tiny little grater here. You can crush it with a knife, or there are all sorts of different inventions for crushing garlic and similar things, but I just find grating it is a really nice way of doing it. You do get it on your fingers though, so there is that. Then you want some mayo. I made some mayo yesterday actually, so this is brand new, fresh, homemade mayo. About 1/3 cup, maybe. Oh, that is delicious. I'm glad I'm going to use that. Now, a bit embarrassing, but I went to the shops yesterday and I forgot to buy lemons. So I would very, very much recommend fresh lemon juice from a lemon, not from a bottle, but this is all I've got today. So I'm going to do some lemon juice because to me, the lemon juice is massively important. I read all these different recipes online for Caesar salad dressing, and a lot of them had all sorts of different types of vinegar. We're just going to use a bit of normal vinegar, but I really think that lemon juice really does it for me. That really brings out that lemon and garlic together. And then obviously with the mayo, this was kind of, you know, after being a bit overwhelmed with all the different Caesar salad dressing recipes out there, I just kind of gave up and I decided to make my own from my sort of intuition or instinct of what flavors kind of reminded me of what I've had in restaurants, and I'm super happy with the results, so I hope that you give this one a go. A tiny bit of regular malt vinegar, just a little bit, a bit of black pepper. I'm not adding salt at all to this dressing, and the reason for that is the ingredient that comes next, which is Parmesan. Parmesan to me is pretty salty, and actually you don't need to add any salt at all. If you want a bit of saltiness, I mean, by all means add some salt, but you can also add a bit of nutritional yeast, and that adds a lovely, it's kind of similar to Parmesan in a way, which is why it's often used as a vegan alternative to Parmesan, but it also adds that lovely salty flavor. So a slightly bigger grater for the Parmesan. You want about 1/2 cup of Parmesan. And then you can save a bit of Parmesan to put on top of the salad as well. Mixing the Parmesan in well here. And as you can see, I'm doing this all by hand. You don't need any fancy equipment at all to make this. Now, remember the anchovies from earlier? I add a tiny bit of the olive oil from the anchovies in. Trust me, it doesn't make it too fishy actually. It just adds a bit of, I mean, it adds a bit of lovely oil, which makes the dressing nice and creamy, but it also adds just a bit of grounded flavor to kind of go really well with the lemon juice and the vinegar and everything. And one final ingredient that I add, and you don't have to do this, but I love to add a tiny bit of sweetness with just a dash of runny honey. But I think it really does it. It really binds the dressing as well, just physically, but it just kind of takes the edge off the vinegar a little bit, you know? So that's your dressing. That is that done. I'm just going to taste it. Amazing. I'm actually going to add a tiny bit of lemon juice. Here's the thing, the ratio here with the different types of ingredients in the dressing are all up to you, and you can omit stuff. You can use substitutes. If you're like anchovy olive oil, no thank you, then just leave it out. You can add a bit of normal olive oil, but you don't have to add that at all. If you want to thin it out a bit, you can add a bit more vinegar if you kind of like that sort of acidic flavor to your dressings. If you don't, then you can add more mayo, or you can add a bit more honey, like all these different ways that you can go with it. But this, to me, I reckon now with a bit more lemon juice, is going to just be perfect. That was it. That was exactly what it needed. If you're a bit of a garlic fiend as well, you can add way more garlic. It's totally up to you. So really only one thing left to do here. We've got our Caesar salad, and you just want to get that dressing all in it and toss it all together. Oh man, this is gonna be my lunch break. I'm very excited to actually eat this, because when I make videos about stuff, I actually eat the stuff that you see, so I can't afford to throw this all out, and neither can the planet, obviously. Get everything covered nicely, or if you prefer, you can just place every ingredient of the salad on a plate and then just drizzle the dressing over at the end. It's completely up to you. But when you're in a proper dressing mood, as I am today, then you can just get everything all up in it. A bit of extra Parmesan on top, because why not? And there you go. That is my Caesar salad with everything on it. Chicken, pancetta, anchovies, tomatoes, croutons. You can do it your way. Remember that I don't have to decide how you make your salad. So take what you like, throw away what you don't, but I definitely recommend that dressing.